We love being able to go to the different high school, colleges, middle schools to live broadcast sporting events around the area. Georgia Alabama Sports Live appreciates all the fan support, but without a presenting sponsor like Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC in Opelika, none of this would be possible. So we want to say thank you so much. Go to glennsmith.com. That is right, glennsmith.com. See all the inventory and see why people always say, get ready to smile. Thanks, everyone, and thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC for being our presenting sponsor. Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. Thrift Barringer and my partner in crime. That's him. That's his smiling face, Rich Holdridge. Richard, how are you, man?
Doing great, Thrift. Glad to do another Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. Glad I was able to be on Sports Visions as we're just going from one show to the other, and we got a lot to cover in sports. I mean, I'm watching Sports Center right now. Breaking news happening as we speak. There's just so much sports to talk about.
There is, and I'm glad we're going to be getting into it. We got a fantastic slate for you tonight. We got a lot of things we're going to be getting into, which is J.J. Redick is about to be the head basketball coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Are you kidding me? Can't wait.
Are you serious?
Get into that.
That's got to be a LeBron move right there.
I'm wondering how that's going to be. You got the Bulls trading to get Alex Caruso, giving Alex Caruso to OKC for Josh Giddey. Giddey, very talented guy he's a great passer. He can shoot, plays decent defense, good playmaker. He's had some troubles within the law. I won't get into much detail with that. But they just think that he didn't have a great playoffs and that it's time to move on from him. And now they got a defensive guy and Alex Caruso. So I'm wondering what the moves are now for the Bulls as they head into the offseason. We also are going to talk with the guy that's in charge of sports at Girls Inc. His name is Michael Woods. He is a longtime trainer and coach around this area. He's coached a lot of people that have done great things, including Jessica Carter, who just signed with the Aces. So we'll talk with Michael Woods, talk some WNBA. He's very opinionated on Caitlin Clark. Can't wait to talk with Coach Woods. His daughter, Jarquella, is the coach at Northside, who's made the playoffs these last couple of years, won a region championship. So looking forward to talking with Coach Woods. And then we're going to have on my good friend, the AD, former AD, and head boys basketball coach of the Pacelli Vikings. Correy Black's going to join the program. We're going to talk Summer League basketball, talk about now what's going on with him. How's it being not having sports in your life all the time? What has he been up to? We'll talk high school Summer League basketball, what he thinks, get some opinions on teams this upcoming year. Can't wait to talk about that with him. But Richard, how are you? How's everything holding up on your end? And it was good to have you back. You called some games on Tuesday. I know that was fun. Called some high school girls basketball. We called some boys last night. Just doing what we do on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Just keep grinding away and just continuing to cover these local sporting events just because, we both live in Columbus. We love the city of Columbus. We want to give these kids the exposure that they deserve. This was something that would have been awesome if we could have done 10 years ago. But I think the technology just continues to evolve, and I know that this is something that everybody can do now, that there is now a platform for everybody to do this. But I tell you what, when you surround yourself around with talent, I mean, you just got to continue just working together as a team. I mean, there's no reason to try to compete with that local talent. I mean, we just got to join forces and work together because we have the same goal in mind, and that is covering these outstanding sporting events.
And we have a lot of fun doing it. I am in the Q1073 studios at PNB Broadcasting, our partner. We appreciate them. Not in Sports Vision Studios today, Q1073. Switch it up. They have another show going on 92.1 Smooth R&B, Richard. So That studio is occupied. I just moved to another one here. Q1073 Studios. It's Richard, it's Thrift. We're going to go ahead and bring on our first guest. This guy has been a longtime coach in our area. He has done a lot for the basketball community. Richard, are we going to go ahead and pull him up?
So he was actually in the green room having technical difficulties, but we'll try to get him on as soon as he gets back on.
Okay, well, we're trying to have on Coach Michael Woods when he gets a chance. I don't want to really get into too much of our topics.
Oh, there he is.
We go. And now we finally got him. As I mentioned, he's done a lot for the basketball community. He's still an integral part in transforming young people's lives, and he's a really good guy. And his name is Michael Woods. He is the sports director over at Girls Inc. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Just having little problems, but hopefully we can get through it.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get through it. Coach, I'm going to let you do this, okay? Because I do this with all our guests, and Richard, I think it's justice, and we do the same thing for him. First time you come on, especially for our viewing audience that doesn't know who Michael Woods is, tell them your story. Tell them where you got started, what got you into basketball specifically, what led you at, why'd you want to lead the program at Girls Inc. The floor is yours. Tell us about yourself, Michael, then we'll get into some topics.
Okay. Thank you guys for allowing me to do so. Been in this game for a long time. I actually started travel basketball probably about, my daughter's actually a coach at Northside, and I think I started coaching travel basketball when she was like 10 years old. So I've been in the game for a long time with that. Over the years and starting with our travel basketball, I had a guy by the name of Walter McKee, who's actually the sports director here at Girls 8 before me, allowed me to come in and bring my travel team in to practice at this facility. He and then in turn hired me on as a part-time worker here at Girls 8 because I was spending a lot of time here. So he asked me, You're spending most of your time here, you might as well get paid for it. So I eventually started working part-time here. Eventually trained me and got me prepared for the position I am in now, which is a sports director. I've been here for this is one of my second year as a sports director here, and just trying to continue the things that I've done throughout the past with growing girls athletics, but particularly basketball in our area. Because I'm the sports director now, I have to venture off into other different avenues, and we have a great sports program here at Girls Inc. We do soccer. We have a golf team. We have track now. We're actually going to participate in our third track meet. First track meet here locally on Saturday. So we're doing a lot of things here. And, again, my story has always been about helping the kids out in this community. Whatever I can do to help out the kids in the community, I've been up to doing it. Someone gave me an opportunity a long time ago. And that has been with me for the longest. Older guy by the name of Charles Prophet, who was the boys club director back in my day, told me that I had a chance to be a leader, but I was choosing to follow. And once I made my mind up that I wanted to lead, I was going to be good for somebody. And once I bought into that, I realized how important it was to have people like that in my life and to have that kind of faith and trust in me. So I try to just give back to kids what he gave to me. He didn't have to. He could have. I tried out on his baseball team. My baseball team was a big rival with his baseball team. And lo and behold, their baseball team, the boys club, started before our baseball team started practice. So we were going to load up and go over there just to see what kind of players they had on their team. And my mama told me, no, you started over there, you ain't going to quit. And I ended up being over there with him for a while. So again, he helped me a lot of long ways. A lot of people played a major role in what I do. And I just want to do the same thing to those people that are going on now. I want them to be proud of what I do and knowing that what they instilled in me, that I'm trying to carry on the things that they did to give back to the kids in the community. So pretty much it.
Michael, you have had an integral part in girls basketball in this community, and girls basketball is at an all-time high. I mean, I don't know if there's ever been a time in Columbus where we've had this much talent on the girls' side. Yeah, we've had players in the past. Katana Swainer, who played at UConn, she played at Columbus. We've had Olivia Cochran, who's going to be playing in the WNBA. And how about Jessica Carter? I mean, you had a draft party at Girls Inc. Jessica Carter got drafted by the New York Liberty. She's now on the Las Vegas Aces. And we are going to have future WNBA players, but just the impact that you have on these girls' lives that is translating to the next level. What does that mean to you to develop these girls into college players and eventually WNBA players?
Well, I'm gonna tell you the truth, Richard. I'm one of the guys that I don't take credit for it. I mean, a lot of these guys, none of these girls are born with it in them. We just figure out a way how to get it out of them. Olivia Cochran, mom was a pro. She played in the WNBA. She played at Auburn University. Her dad was a professional football player, played at Georgia, played in the NFL for 12 years. A lot of people didn't know that, but it was in her. You know, we just had to show her how and show her the rules and the techniques of what was doing. Just keep grinding with it. Know exactly.
Okay.
So, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Michael.
And so you get kids like Jessica Carter who didn't really love she. I think I was listening to one of her interviews yesterday, and she was like she didn't really pick up the love for basketball until she was in 11th grade, and she didn't, and she just didn't because she played because everybody said she wanted to play, had to play because she was tall, and she just sent me something probably about 2 years ago, and just in a text just saying how thankful she was because I looked at her as a person versus a girl who's tall and just can play basketball. She never loved the game like people thought she did, and she picked up the love for it. So I'm so proud of the fact that I'm able to get that stuff out of kids versus the basketball part. That's easy for us, teaching these kids how to play basketball. We have a kid that drove up her parents. We met her parents a while back. She's at Florida State, Michaela Timpson. I looked at her projected where she's projected to go next year. She's projected to go in the number 6 pick next year in the draft. So
wow,
it's she's a walking double at Florida State right now. She came through these doors. Parents will drive her from Emerson, Georgia, down there, and just bring her up here every weekend, and then some days of the week. And I watch this kid grow. But again, guys, she had it. I mean, the kid was jumping out of the gym before we met her. We just had to show her, fine tune some skills. But it is a blessing to be a part. And it was way more girls before those girls came along. It's just this is a new age, and this is what people know about. But there were great ones that we've had in the past. Della English, Tasha Taylor was along with that group.
Loretta Cobb.
Loretta is my hero. They ask me all the time who's the best women's basketball player I've ever seen, and I tell them all the time Loretta was the best I've ever seen play the game here. Wow. And in this area. But we've seen a lot of great young ladies to come through here to play this game and go off to get scholarships and play at a high level. Again, like I said, Tasha Taylor played in that same class with Keisha Soigné, and that class alone we had. Keisha Soigné went to UConn. Tasha Taylor went to Clemson. But the better player out of that group was Ladella English. She went to the University of New Orleans. So wow. There's some history I can go on and on about women's basketball and what's come through here for a long time. But my goal is to continue to build. And coaching JUCO basketball for 9 years, I got out of it. I didn't realize how much I was out of it, and to watch these kids not get developed the way they were getting developed. My goal is to put the right people around me. We have people like Pam Smith, who played at Auburn, Carla McKinnon, who played at East Tennessee State. We got college coaches from on the male side to come in, and it's not about me. It's about putting the right people around you to help keep grooming the talent in this area. And that's what our goal is to do here.
Yeah, and you've done a great job at it, Michael. And I love seeing what you continue to build, which is getting kids off the street and getting them in an organized structure to be able to better themselves and show them that there's so many things out there that they can do with whatever they dream of. And I know that's one of the messages at Girls Inc. You talk about, and I want you to elaborate more about Girls Inc. What is it that the service that you bring? What is it that you do from people that don't know? Most people in this area know what Girls Inc. is, but I just want you to talk about Girls Inc. Talk about any of the people that are in charge. I know Cassie Higgins, her mom, Dr. Gibson, was the department chair at Columbus State University. So I graduated under her mom. So I know Cassie and the director there. You've introduced me, Michael. She's wonderful. So talk about Girls Inc., what it's like, what you offer. You talk about having these college coaches and the different programs that are happening at Girls Inc.
So much going on here. We Dr. Danita, I'm sorry, Dr. Gail Burgos is our leader. She's our CEO here at Girls Inc. And when I tell you it's a joy to come in and work for someone like her, because she gives you the opportunity to be who you are. She allows you to be who you are. She finds everybody talented and she makes it work for the betterment of the organization. And I think that's one of the things that she's done here at Girls Inc. So many different things that we have to offer, and predominant the numbers of kids that are coming to this center. 99.9% of the kids are African American, and a lot of these kids are low income based kids. So we need donations. We get our money through grants and fundraising events that we do to help continue to buy and get these kids, like you said, off the streets, give them an opportunity. Some of these parents who can't afford for after school care, we provide transportation. I'm actually over transportation as well, and we go pick up at pretty much every school in Musco County School District if your kid want to come here at Girls Inc. So we provide an opportunity for to help be an assistance for the parents, as far as not worrying to have to get off work. You can sign your kid up for Girls Inc. here, and we're gonna pick them up from school, and all you gotta do is be here by 7 o'clock to pick them up.
Right.
But just provide so many opportunities for them. We, like I said, in the sports department, we have so many things that we do here for them. But on the other side, the academic part that they do, the stream lab that we have, we just had a grant for it, and the kids are able to come in and do so much. We have a group of kids. We need to get y'all and hook y'all up with that. They're running our teams. They're running their podcast up at our Dorothy Hyatt Center. So
yeah, I saw that. Cassie showed me the room that has a whole podcasting center with a microphone and everything. That's awesome. You're able to offer that to show kids, again, the different things that are out there that you can do.
Yeah. And everything ain't about sports. You know what I'm saying? Again, we have so many different things to try to get these kids to find out who they are. And so we have kids that have come through here, doctors and stuff like that. Man, they didn't play basketball, but they're doing very well, and they come back to volunteer and do the things they're doing. And all I ask for the kids that have come through here, well, young women now that have come through here, is to be able to come back and give back to the kids. Say some positive words and let them know that they can too achieve what they've set forth to do if they put their foot forward and just make sure that they are striving and working hard to achieve the goals that they want to achieve.
Yeah, and it's awesome. Again, what is happening over there. And I wish more people, if you want to volunteer, if you want to donate, I know there's so many ways. You just visit their website. You can be able to give back, to help out all the time, Michael. I know you're always preaching, hey, give back, because that's what you've been doing your whole career. I did want you to talk. We've been talking Girls Inc., but I just want you to talk about Team SSB. You got it on your shirt right now. What is that? And then you can go in a little bit with the travel basketball, because obviously that is a hot topic around this area. It is almost like a job, or I don't even know how to say it. It's a sector of its own. It's gotten so big with so many teams, and the sole purpose to help young people. But I know you got an opinion on that. So floor is yours, Michael. SSB and travel basketball.
SSB stands for Strong, Smart, and Bold. That's our motto here at Girls Inc. So I originally had a program. My program was the Georgia Jaguars. We nationally known. We have over 300 and some kids combined with the SSB and the Georgia Jaguars that have gone off to college. We've helped get into college. I always say help. A lot of people say I've gotten a kid into school. No, we didn't get a kid into school. Their talents got them into school. We just helped them, and they help their parents along the way. So we've assisted about 300 some kids to go off to school. When I got the job here at Girls Inc. as a sports director, I changed it from the Georgia Jaguars to the Team SSB. And like I said, that stands for Strong, Smart, and Bold. And what we do, we're trying to, like I said again, put these kids on the biggest stage that we possibly can put them on, so that they can get a chance to be recruited by small schools, big schools, or whatever. The ultimate goal is to get them a free education. And so we Team SSB is right now is a makeup of 4 teams. We have a fifth grade team. Well, I'm sorry, we have a fifth grade team, we have a seventh grade team, we have an eighth grade team, and we have an 11th grade team. And
Nice.
we're growing. We got people steady coming in, want to be a part, and that's all we want to do. We want people that want to be a part and want to be a part of the journey. Not. I hear people say all the time, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and that's what we're trying to do. We want people. It's not a quick fix. You're gonna come over here. You're gonna learn the basics of basketball. You're gonna understand what's going on, and that's what we try to do. But we have some kids that now are buying into the fact. We have a young lady. I'm looking at her now in the gym as they still in there practicing while I'm on in here. But her name is Jelena Stewart. She's an 8th grader coming out of. Well, she'll be a 9th grader next year. But she's 6 feet, 6'1". She can play all 4 or 5 spots in high school. She's gonna probably be a 2 or 3 in college. But she just don't have no clue of how good she's gonna be. She's gonna be the next Power 5 Division I kid to come through here. But she's been in the gym all morning. Asked me, Coach, can I stay? Tell my mama you're gonna bring me home. I said, yeah, I'll do that. So she's still in the gyms. So we look for those kids, man, who want it. Not just their parents want it, because sometimes the parents can want it more than the kids. But we want the kids to want it. And we're just trying to build and build a platform for these kids. Give these kids take them to the platforms that are there, so they can reach the goals that they try to reach. It's so hard now, y'all, with that transfer portal and NIL and all that stuff. It's so hard for the high school kids. And so
you get an opportunity.
Yeah, the reality of these kids getting an opportunity, like high school kids right now, it's so hard for them to get major Division I scholarships. So we're trying to tell them that, hey, there's nothing wrong with going to JUCO. If you got to go to JUCO and prove somebody that you can play at the next level, then do that. There are a lot of great JUCOs out there for you to go off and develop, because a lot of the coaches are in the transfer portal. But our biggest goal here at SSB is to not only to enhance the kids' skill, y'all, but to educate the parents, because they don't know. They have no clue about half of the things that goes on. They have no clue about the recruiting process. They have no clue that your child is probably one of the better kids in Columbus, Georgia. But when you go on that circuit that we play on, she becomes an average kid. And so, we're just trying to get them to understand how important it is that kids across the country are doing it. Last thing I say about this, we went to we have an event we went to attended called the Final Four Experience, and where we took our kids to the Final Four.
I saw that. That was awesome.
Yeah, and they played in this big major tournament, and they were blown away, because everything up there was good. It's the top 8th grade teams in the country, and everything up there was good, and they didn't realize. And I tell the parents, it's good for them to see that there's other people that are working. And so they came back and they worked hard. But we was able to take these kids there, and they was able to see so much, man. We was able to take them to the practice section with South Carolina and Iowa. They got a chance to go to Tournament Town, where they got a chance to see and meet some of the great Breonna Stewart, Zia Cook, all these different players. Simone Augustus. They got a chance to see a lot of great people, man. And I'm talking about just hands-on, with nobody just standing in line. It was like just having a great time and understanding. So we're going to take them back next year to be in Tampa. We're going to do the same thing in Tampa, because I tell our parents all the time, it's so important for you guys to see what I know is to be true. I've seen it for so long, but in order for you to buy in, you need to see it yourself. So we even it was great that they did it with the younger groups this year. So we were able to take our younger parents there, and so they can see the vision of where we're trying to get their kids to once they get to be 10th and 11th graders.
That's awesome, man. Go ahead, Richard.
Michael, with the WNBA at an all-time high popularity-wise, Caitlin Clark has brought some new fans to the game, but what's your opinion on Caitlin Clark and the way that she plays her game and how that translates to playing in the WNBA? Because she had a great career in college, but the WNBA is more physical, as we've seen. I mean, she's not been able to get her shot off like she was at Iowa. But what's your take on Caitlin Clark and how she has affected the game?
Well, I think the biggest thing is some people take things for hating when veterans speak the truth. And if you had people like Cheryl Swoops who spoke the truth not only about Caitlin, but she spoke the truth about Angel Reese. She said it was going to be a learning curve for them, and people didn't understand. They took it as the older veterans are hating, and it's not that. He, like they said, she didn't have a training camp. She went straight from the college level to the pros. She now have a chance to get in the weight room and have an off season where she can train and get stronger and all those type of things right there. It's a learning curve. Angel has never been an athlete, the more skilled post player, but Angel's getting away with a lot of things because she works so hard. Caitlin is going to be super for the WNBA once she gets the opportunity again to see and what she's doing now, seeing how physical the league is, and I love what she say and how she handles her interviews and how she talks about, oh, she got to go through it. And I just wish some of her fans would understand that she has to go through it. It's nothing that nobody is hating on her about it. It's just that she has to go through these things, and these girls are. I think somebody said it that about the talent pool. The talent pool is because there's a limited amount of spots. Everybody in the WNBA is really good for versus because of the limited amount of spots. All these women on these teams were McDonald's All-Americans, the top players at one time. So I think she's gonna be good for the league. I mean, she's gonna be great for the league. It's just a matter of people understanding and fans understanding that just because she did this in college or just because Angel did this in college, it's not going to be as easy in the WNBA because you got some of those women who's been playing basketball overseas, and just like they said, overseas basketball is a whole lot physical than it is in the WNBA. So, I think she's going to be great for it.
I think that's a great answer, and I think you made some great points. The problem is that the fan base is so loud with Caitlin Clark, and it can be frustrating. And I mean, sometimes got to be realistic too, guys. Let's be honest. No one in their right mind thought Stephen Curry, after what he did in college basketball, remember he had that great run, that he was going to come in the NBA and just start dominating, because physics say 6'8" LeBron James at 245 is just going to manhandle someone like Steph Curry, who eventually found his way. Yes. Which is why I think Caitlin Clark can do that. But to think physically, it didn't align that she was going to come in and dominate. Maybe if she was like a Breanna Stewart or someone that has size with her, maybe, Michael, then it's more realistic to think, hey, yeah, Caitlin Clark could come in and dominate right now. But is that one of the biggest things with your takeaway when watching her, is that it's getting to the point where it's the WNBA is not just Caitlin Clark. Yeah. I'm glad that these fans are not wanting to tune in, but they need to start realizing, like, Asia Wilson is basically Shaq in the WNBA.
Yes, when I say Thrift, I'm going to call a name right now. Hopefully he's watching. Myself and Dr. Stephon Lawrence.
I tagged him. I did.
Yeah, we go at it all the time. I love him. He's a great guy.
Heck of a principal.
Yeah, I had somebody say, "Why y'all hate each other?" No, we talk off Facebook. We'll get on the phone and talk about stuff afterwards. Another 30, 40 minutes afterwards. But trying to get him to understand the same thing. It's the biggest thing about it, Thrift, is that Asia Wilson is the best. She is the superstar in the WNBA. And what the WNBA needs to do is to promote her the same way they're trying to promote Caitlin. She's putting up, numbers that's outstanding numbers. If you look at her now, I was watching something, and she's like 29, 13, 35, 14, 28, 12. It's consistent. And we're not marketing her as the face of the league and allowing Caitlin to be that young superstar, but yet still she don't have all that pressure. Sometimes that can hurt a young person when you putting all that pressure on them, and everybody's hoping that she's going to be what she was in college. And what let's say, for instance, she hits a wall and mentally it does something to her. I think they need to do a better job with making sure that all the superstars that they have in the league that are paid the way for her to be who she is, because there's going to be another one in 2 years. And I told Stephon this, Juju Watkins. is gonna take on the league. She's gonna take the WNBA to another level, monetarily wise. After hers, she got one more year of 2 more years of college basketball. But watch Juju Watkins from USC. Watch what she does. The numbers are gonna, for viewers, monetarily wise, she's gonna take it to another level. I think Caitlin them came on. Angel, unfortunately, Cam got hurt. She tore ACL the other night. But these girls came on in the right time. I asked this question. I asked y'all this question. I said to Stephon, I said, if 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 Kobe or LeBron had a came on in the time that Michael came in, would the Jordans be as popular as they are now?
That's a good question.
If Kobe and LeBron being the specimen that he is, had came into the league after Magic and Bird saved it, and then here comes this freak of nature athlete comes in, would he have been Michael, and Michael would have not been who he is now? I said to people all the time, it's about timing. Michael came in at the right time. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. He came at the right time. Caitlin is coming in at the right time. There's going to be the next wave of young ladies going to come in that's going to benefit more than Caitlin is benefit, because they're going to be coming in where money is going to be better, endorsements going to be better, all that different stuff. So, we just got to wait and see. And I just, like I said, again, I cheer for the young lady. I know she's a phenomenal talent. I love the fact that she's a fighter and she plays hard and she plays with a swag and an edge on her. I like all that stuff, but it's just sometimes I just hate that the fans don't understand that when you put all that pressure onto a person to do all that stuff, when they don't mount up to what you think they should mount up to, don't turn your back on them. And I don't want that. That's one thing I hope don't happen with her. She don't become a marginal or an average ball player to the normal fan, because she never met the expectations that they wanted her to meet. So
I think that's a great answer. I think you're a great guy, and I'm glad we finally got to be able to do this. We're going to have you on more frequently as you update us on what's happening with Girls Inc., and we're glad to partner with them. Michael, thank you so much for your time. Get back to coaching basketball as you always do, and I'll be seeing you at a sporting event in the near future.
Thank you, guys. I'm waiting for the next opportunity.
Thank you, Michael. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Mike.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we got Correy Black, from the former, I can't even say it, from Pacelli, the former Pacelli athletic director and basketball coach, and now he is with Emmanuel Prep. We're going to have that here on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. You're watching right now the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show that is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile. We'll be right back after this.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox. Discounted up to $6,500 off. Chevy's full-size pickup truck, the powerful Chevy Silverado, is up to $12,000 off. And big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs are discounted up to $6,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until fall. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
And we're smiling right now as we go from one great guest to the next. And we still got some other great topics we're going to talk about here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. There he is. So, Coach broke the news to me. I don't know. This is going on now 2 months, 3 months, maybe. I'm trying to think. It was around April, or maybe it was in March. Maybe it's longer than that. Anyway, Coach broke the news to me. I couldn't believe it, because I was like, man, I'm just now getting started with Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I'm about to ride this way with Corey. He's about to help to get me places. And then all of a sudden, Coach did a 360 on me and decided that, you know what, I'm going to go out on top, and I'm going to take a little bit of a break and go try a new endeavor. Coach Correy Black, the former AD of Pacelli, head boys basketball coach, just won a state championship, now is the Dean of Admissions at Emmanuel Prep, which now you're in the academic field, Coach. So I know you're enjoying that learning curve, ain't you?
Yeah, it's been a nice learning curve, but I've been blessed and having fun with it and trying to figure it out along the way.
Well, Coach, let's go ahead. Let's talk a little bit about your previous job as the AD of Pacelli. GIAA came out, coaches that won Coach of the Year. You had Zach Cochran. yourself, the wrestling coach, and Bryant Thomas. I pretty much think that's kind of like the last award for what just happened this previous year. Kind of sum up again what you were able to accomplish here in this 2-year run of winning 11 to 12 state championships. Incredible.
Yeah, it was a great run. Winning 11 state championships is not an easy feat to do. Pretty exhausting, actually.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was fun. It was exciting. The kids performed at high levels to be able to do that. We got really good coaches, really good administration that supported us, gave us everything we needed to win it. So it was a great ride, Thrift and Richard.
Yeah, it was. Richard, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, we really enjoyed being a part of that ride, getting to live stream many games on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Just talk about that relationship you still have with Pacelli. You're going to still be around the program. What does the future look like for Pacelli? And talk about the new AD that replaced you not only as the athletic director, but as the basketball coach as well.
Yeah, great relationship. Actually, I don't really finish Pacelli to the end of June. So
yeah,
I'm still doing some back and forth stuff, trying to make the transition as smooth as possible for all parties involved. We built a really good thing at Pacelli, so I'm trying to do everything I can do to keep it smooth and keep the boat going and floating in the right direction. But yeah, new AD basketball coach Calvin Thomas has got his nose in there, and he off to a fast start with summer basketball and trying to figure out the athletic director position and trying to put his touch on it and trying to figure it out. So right now we're in that transition phase, and they got me for about one more week, and they got
it. We were with Coach Correy Black, who is now the Dean of Admissions at a Manual Preparatory School, an all-boys school for math and science. We'll talk about that in just a moment, Coach. But you see with everything that is happening in the landscape of sports and stuff, and Michael Woods was just talking about recruiting and everything else that's happening. Do you feel like that's where your focus is going to be? We'll talk about, again, Emmanuel Prep in just a moment, but I'm talking about CB Hoops, because that is where, in my opinion, you cut your teeth. Like you did the Columbus State run, but CB Hoops transformed a lot of lives, including, I told you, myself, my brother. Just remember going to those exposure camps. I feel like that's something you really want to make sure it starts. Not saying it fell, but it got flatlined. Just got complacent a little bit because you were so busy with Pacelli. I know you want to get that back rolling the way it used to be.
Yeah, that's you're exactly right, Thrift. When I went into the Pacelli thing, I was like, man, I could do both. I can really do both, and I did both. But probably the one I didn't do at a high level was the CB Hoops, and that probably impacted a lot of more people. And so making this move will help me get that back going at a higher level, make some more impacts in some different areas, and get that back going. So yeah, you're right. The first move we made with CB Hoops is bringing the junior college jamboree back to Columbus State, where it all first started, and that is the longest running jamboree in the country, which will be right here in Columbus State in our own backyard. So it's crazy how this thing is going full circle right now, and that's what life does. But yeah, you're exactly right. Thrift, CB Hoops is coming back, and it's much needed. It's needed more than ever than when we first started with the transfer portal, the new way recruiting is, and it's all about relationships and who you know and all that kind of stuff. So CB Hoops is coming back full force.
And we are 100% going to be live streaming that. Can't wait to be a part of a lot of CB Hoops events coming up. But Junior College Jamboree, I played in it when I was at West Georgia Tech. That is exactly where it needs to be. It needs to be at Columbus State. And I know Robert's happy. Jay Sparks is happy. Yourself, I saw you made the post, and I was like, man, that's awesome. That's getting back to where it belongs. Coach, now that it's been some time, do you miss it? Do you feel like you're missing something this summer? Because this is when you're grinding for the next school year. What's going through your head? Everybody's wondering, like, do you miss summer basketball? I mean,
No.
what's happening with you?
No, I don't miss it. Have not been in the gym all June. And
You're kidding me.
yeah, haven't been in the gym all June. Don't want to go to a gym. I just tell you that's how exhausted I was from it. I check on the guys and Pacelli, make sure they're good. But no, haven't been in the gym. Don't want to. Get to work out a little bit more. Got a little bit more time to do what I want to do, and I got a lot of work to do in manual prep too. So I ain't really got time to be in a gym. But no, not missing it right now, Thrift. It's still early too, and no, I'm fine, man. I'm working out every day. I worked out about 15 straight days, so no, I ain't missing it.
Go ahead, Richard.
Coach, talk about what it meant to give back to the community, to be a part of basketball in this city. If it was the St. Mark Dream to Achieve Foundation, the CB Hoops Perfect Practice Fall League, a lot of great players came out of that, including Charles Stone, who's playing at Kennesaw State. I mean, you got Tyson McDaniel, it's playing college ball. I mean, we got some great talent in this city. But really, what does it mean to just be around basketball in this city? Because as like we have seen, we have live streamed many basketball games on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. There's a lot of talent in this city.
Yeah, that's a great question, Richard. And that's the first reason I even took the Pacelli job was to give back to the community, to put another decent program in the community to make competitive and just make basketball better in the community. And I felt like I did. I think I helped raise the bar of basketball in the whole community. And but again, like you just said, we'll still be doing the fall league. We still got the San Mark camp, but I'm here, still gonna be around doing that kind of stuff.
I can't wait for the San Mark camp. Can't wait to be there. That's one of our first live streams from when we started Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We did that last summer. You remember that, Richard?
Yep.
We'll be back there this week. Let's talk about that camp. You got started with you, DJ Jones, Sam Mitchell, and Mark Upshaw. Talk about what you four tried to accomplish then and still going all these years later.
Yeah, 20 years. This year is the 20th year anniversary of the Sam Mitchell camp. I'll never forget DJ Jones saying, Corey, you want to come help with this camp? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Didn't even know what it was. And 20 years later, I'm here directing the camp and still got 200 kids back at Columbus State this year, July 22nd through the 25th. And it's going to be a really good camp. 20th anniversary is going to be special this year.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Richard, go ahead.
Yeah, that was really awesome that I got to be a part of that. I actually got to meet Grant Williams' father. I thought that was really cool. I think Grant Williams coming up in the camps, and now he's playing in the NBA. I mean, how rewarding is it just to see these players play at the next level, like we've seen with Grant Williams?
Yeah, Richard, and that's what the camp is about, achieve to believe. And if you believe, you can achieve all your dreams. And this is a kid that came to camp every summer that just worked his tail off. And when he comes back now playing in the NBA and kids can see him, it really just gives them that hope where they can know that, hey, anything is possible. You just got to work. So it's always good to have that face with the camp because they went through the camp. And people can relate to it. People see him. He go out. He talk to people. So it's really good for the camp for him to come back every year.
Coach, I'm going to ask some tough questions, and I want to see if you'll be willing. I feel like you're a straight shooter, like DJ says, straight no chaser. What's happening in high school basketball? From this summer, Carver has been unbelievable. I mean, their JV teams beating varsity teams by 50 points. I mean, they got so many great kids that are going to play basketball at a really high level. But Coach, as we've seen in this market, I mean, just like in college basketball, players go different places or want to go to where they think they can win or whatever it may be. How do you feel about that in high school basketball? Because I feel like sometimes players don't go where it's the best fit for them. They don't make the best decisions for them. Sometimes it may be better to stay at your school. I'm going to use an example, Kendrick. I talk to Coach Dow all the time. He loses players left and right that live in that area, and I hate it for him because, you want to go somewhere else, Coach, because you say, well, they're winning there. Well, you can be the person that brings the winning at Kendrick if you just stay there. And that's just one of many places. But I want you to elaborate. You know the scene. You know how it is. Sometimes players because they go to a place that's not a great fit, that ended up ruining their career.
Yeah, the main thing, Thrift, I think people are just not educated. Educated on the whole process. Like, why are you making that move? Like, are you making that move to go win? So if you're going to make it to go win, okay, I get it. But or are you making it to go to the next level? And sometimes stacking your team ain't always good going to the next level. Like, you got to go where people going to develop you as a player. Are they developing you as a person too? Are you in the right classes to get recruited? Is that coach that you're going to connected to college coaches? Because one thing about it, you can go win 30 games every year, win a state championship. But if you're not connected, you're not going to the next level. That's just the fact of it. But again, like you said, like you used the example for Coach Doc, man. I hate it for Coach Doc. Really good guy, really good coach, puts his all into it. But it's the way of the world right now. People want to stack teams, go here and there. Nobody wants to go through the hard stuff. Nobody want to go through the adversity. Nobody want to do the 0-22 and say, no, I'm going to go over there and get them a chance, and I'm going to have people follow me. Kids and people are not built like that anymore. Parents not telling them, no, you're going to stick it out. You started here, you finished. People don't want to do that. People don't want to tell kids the truth. Like people say, man, kids change. No, they hadn't. The adults have changed. The parents have changed. The coaches have changed, and they allow it. So that's how that stuff happens.
It's a standard. When you allow that to happen, the standard has changed nowadays. And that's what I hate, Coach, more than anything. You talked about recruiting. You know this better than anyone. I mean, you got college coaches calling you left and right. You are the JUCO liaison for every JUCO in the Southeast. What are these coaches looking for? And now it's harder than ever with transfer portal, NIL. I mean, it's a tough competitive field. It's hard to get recruited now than it was 10, 15 years ago. So you got to be really great. What are they looking for in kids?
Well, if you're just talking about the high school kid, you better first have some size. You got to have some size first. First, they're looking for size. Nobody really wants little guards, undersized post players. They want big guards with size that's athletic, that can shoot it. You got to be able to shoot. You got to be tough. You got to be able to rebound it. You got to be able to defend. But you better be doing all these things with some size. If you think you're going to do all this at 5'8", 5'9", 2 guard, it's going to be tough, But they're looking for toughness. They're looking for character. They're looking for if you got any grades. That's the main thing, because they can go in the transfer portal and go get a kid that's already been in Division I level, Division II level, that got grades, got credits, and can bring them in. So at the high school level, man, it's getting tougher and tougher because they're looking for size. And they're looking for kids that are older. And guess what? You're only going to be 17, 18 years old in high school. So that's going to turn you off. You know what I mean?
Right. No, exactly what you mean, Coach.
Coach, we're a couple of months away from the new school calendar. A lot of changes, not just for the private schools, but also the public schools. All the schools are in the same region on the public side. You got Glenwood going to the AHSAA. Calvary is joining the GIAA along with Pacelli and Brookstone. I mean, you've been around majority of these programs. I mean, you've been a fan of these schools, just watching them. How is the condition of these schools, like, going in the right direction, just making sure that their programs are successful?
Are you speaking of Calvary? Are you talking about Calvary? Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about Calvary going to the GIAA, but just basically the general landscape of the schools making the changes with the reclassification.
Well, that would be Glenwood too. Glenwood going
to the AHSAA.
You know what?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think Calvary's gonna be fine. They got Steve Smith over there. He AD. He know what he's doing. Yeah. He got Manuel Brunson over there, good football coach. He know what he's doing. They got people in place. Like Steve Smith is good. He's a really good athletic director. They got Jonathan Norton there now running the school. Yeah. Calvary is, they're gonna be fine. Same with Glenwood. Glenwood got really good administration too. Tim Fan, they know what they do. Like these people know what they're doing. The school, Dusty Purdue, they know what they're doing. So I'm not worried about them because it's all about the leadership. If you got the right leadership, you got a chance. And those two programs going to be good with their transition.
Talk about the competitive level of the GIAA and why you made that move to go to that league that I think is growing and sometimes gets a bad rap because, people think private school, I mean, you're not playing any competition. I think that's far away from the truth. Talk about why you made the move and why that was beneficial for Pacelli and GIAA as a whole, why it is a very competitive and growing league.
Yeah, great question, Thrift. I'm just a big component of if you're an independent school, you need to be an independent league. When Pacelli, when we was in the GHSA, it's 460 plus schools in the GHSA, and was only 70 of them was private schools. So the rules are set up for public schools, not for private schools. So just stopping right there, like you're gonna lose those battles when it comes to anything. If it's public versus private, you don't have a chance. You're in the wrong league. It's 400 schools over there and 60 of y'all. Get in the right league. Get in the independent league where you belong. Because it's just different rules. We got different circumstances in the private school league. So, and running a school, it's just different. We don't. It's less people. It's more people in public school. Just totally different ball game. So, I think it was a great move for Pacelli. Look like it is so far. We've been successful. We've been successful with it, but just the best move I ever made as AD was probably leaving the GHSA, going to the GIAA, going over there to compete. Now you got a chance to compete in every sport every night, and that just affects your whole school culture too. Going out there, going 0-10 in the GHSA is not helping your school culture. But going out there competing in the GIAA and having a chance to win championships in all sports, just not one or two, it makes it a really good move. And I always say this, Thrift and Richard, on a Friday night at a high school football game, nobody ever looks in the stands and say, "Hey, this is a really good GHSA football game."
No.
Or they say, "No, this is a really good GIAA football." Nobody cares. They just want to see their little baby out there having a good competitive game, not getting blown out, a competitive game, but nobody ever looks around and say, "What league is this?" Nobody says that. They just want to see a really good competitive game. And for the GIAA, nobody questioned Anthony Edwards playing in the GIAA. So, if he's good enough to play in it, I think any of us are good enough to play in it. But the GIAA is a good league for independent schools.
Richard?
Coach, as high school football is approaching, we're a couple of months away. Just that atmosphere at Pacelli with Viking football. They won the state championship a couple of years ago. Dwight Jones, he's been just a phenomenal coach, and we've seen some great football players come out of Pacelli. The battle for the Brucelli Jug, that rivalry with Brookstone, that atmosphere at Diamond Field and that rivalry with Brookstone, I mean, how important is it just to have this rivalry in Columbus with these two private schools? And then you add Calvary to the mix, because now that they're in the GIAA, I think that we're going to have a huge rivalry between all three schools.
Yeah, it's another, like I went back, like I said earlier, Richard, it's good competitive football. People would like to see good competitive football. People don't want to see Pacelli versus Carver. That's not a good competitive football game. But people don't mind watching Pacelli versus Carver versus Brookstone. And guess what? All three of those should be competitive games because they're all the same. They're all independent schools. So I think it's good.
All right, Coach. I do want to talk a few other topics before we get you out of here, and that is Emmanuel Prep. Talk about we know why you made the move and you thought this was your calling, but how has that transition been with it, and what does Emmanuel Prep offer, and why is it a good fit for boys out there?
Emmanuel Prep School of Math and Science, really good place, man. It's a need for our community. Our boys need a place like that in our community. They learn different, they move different. I think it's just a really good place. Been a good little transition. Thrift is different. It's still coaching, it's still leadership. It's all the
Right.
same. It all go back to leadership, developing people, motivating. It's the same stuff. I'm coaching, just not coaching a basketball team, but I'm coaching people, coaching young boys into young men, staff, getting them motivated every day, developing them. It's the same thing. It's coaching. It's been a really good transition.
Well, Coach, we always appreciate your time. You got any thoughts on Caitlin Clark conversation? Because apparently everyone, that's like the most opinionated thing going on right now, Coach.
I don't know what the fuss is about, but I watched her play. She's a really good basketball player. Just that simple. Like, I don't know what's the fuss. Y'all speed me up to date. I'm trying to get enrollment up at Emmanuel Prep. So what did I miss? She's a good basketball player. What's the problem?
It's always something, Coach. It becomes more than Caitlin Clark. It's about the people that support Caitlin Clark going against supporters of just the WNBA, I guess, and they're having this ongoing battle, but it has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. And I feel like that's where it hurts, because women's basketball's at an all-time high right now, specifically speaking in this area with Michaela Hosley, with Jabria Lindsay, with Michaela Johnson. I mean, those three players alone are going to be playing D1 level basketball somewhere. I mean, I just wish we kept the positive conversation talking about it, but talk about why in this area specifically, moving off Caitlin Clark, but in this area specifically, now that I started talking, why are we seeing more women's basketball players going at a higher level than the men? Why has that happened so much, especially in recent years?
I don't know. I think you got some really good coaches. I think you got some really good coaches here in this area, coaching our females. Think
You
some of
think
my
the size thing factors in, Coach? Because you talk about size. Do you think maybe size doesn't matter as much in the women's game as it does for the men? Like, you need to be 6'5" to be a good 2 guard to go D1?
Yeah, I think size do still factor in the women's, but I think we got a little bit more investment in these women, in the girl side in this area. You got really good AAU programs. Coach Woods got one, Joe Foster, the Herman Porters, the Brian Thomas. Like, all those guys are really invested in developing the next female athlete. We got some really good female high school coaches that really do a good job, and I think all that is playing a part in it. And that Hardaway girls basketball team is going to be really good. I call Coach Ellison now future state champ, because she's going to win the state championship. Ain't no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
But I just think just the developing and the coaches. I think it'll go back to developing these coaches, pushing them more and more in the gym.
You talk about travel basketball. I want your opinion on it, because it can become a toxic environment. Everybody's saying, go to my team. You need to go to my team. That team's bad. And Michael Woods didn't do that, and I'm not saying he did. And he was trying to talk about this conversation too. But you've been around the travel basketball circuit. You've seen it, Coach, and how it can be. And it becomes a business, and it becomes more than I'm investing in your kid. It's like, your kid's going to help me more than I'm going to help your kid. I hope it never gets to that point with anybody around this area, but it just seems like sometimes we lose sight of why we have travel basketball.
Yeah, I think it's all egos. I think the egos start playing a part, and the adult egos. It ain't like we dealing with a whole lot of pros in our area.
No.
So I think it's all about ego driven. But when you take the egos away and just do what's best for the kids, it all works itself out, and whatever team you play on is fine. The thing about it, if you're gonna get recruited, you do got to play AAU. A college coach just don't show up to Columbus, Georgia, to any high school game. They're gonna show up to Columbus, Georgia, because they watch you play on the travel team. Right. That's just what it is. AAU basketball showcase you to colleges. High school basketball get you ready to go to college. So they both work hand in hand.
And that's a great answer. Go ahead, Richard.
Coach, with the success of Columbus State making it all the way to the Peach Belt Conference championship, Coach Hauser doing a phenomenal job with the Columbus State Lady Cougars basketball team. We do see some players like Breland Snipes played at Shaw, played at Columbus State. Why don't we see more local girls here in the Fountain City play for Coach Hauser at Columbus State?
And also Robert Moore. I mean, he's recruited more, but it maybe because of lack of talent to
That
play
too.
at that level.
Well, the thing about it, fellas, y'all need to understand. They get 12 to 15 spots, and they recruiting all across the country and world. And that tell you how good you be just because you. And this
That's
what
true.
this what I used to always tell people. Just because you're the best player on your team or in your city, in your county, in your region, in your state, don't mean you're good enough. That's just the reality. You know, sometimes you're just a good high school player. And guess what? That's okay. But everybody just have to remember, just because you're the best on your team or in your region or in your county, that don't mean you're good enough to play college basketball. It just don't. That's not enough.
How important is it for players to be coachable? Because I feel like nowadays, this age group, it's really hard for them to grasp that concept that the way you react, the way you talk, the way you can't be given advice and learning experience, it's going to be hard to be successful in any part of your life. Talk about being coachable and how can we help kids get better at that this year?
Well, the thing about it, if you're not coachable, you're probably not going to get recruited. Just that simple. If you're not coachable, at least for me, you ain't gonna get in the game.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, especially how the recruiting landscape is now, a coach can have 1,000 reasons why they should sign you, but only need one reason why they won't. And coachable better not be one of them, because if coachable is that one reason, you're not gonna get signed. How can we help them? Educate them, hold them accountable. At all times, no matter
What
who
would
it is.
you do in your teams, Coach? How would you hold them accountable?
How do I hold them accountable?
Yeah, what would you do with your teams? How would you hold them accountable? Give me some examples if you can for our audience.
Hold them accountable. Let's just say you're late. Well, guess what? You don't play or you sit out. You miss class. You don't. You run. You don't run the play I tell you to run. You come have a seat beside me. And I talk to you about it, then I put you back in there, especially if you're a good player.
Right.
But I just think I just think whenever they're not being coachable, you got to call them out on the spot and hold them accountable. You know, that's what I did. I thought I was a little successful doing it. A lot of people don't probably didn't like it. Oh, he pulled them out because he turned the ball over. Yeah, because if he turn it over again, we might be down 15. But you bring them out and you just hold them accountable on every aspect, and not just basketball. Hold them accountable through life, through the academics, through the school, and just all walks of life. I think is really where you got to hold them accountable to be coachable is outside really the court.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Coach. And you have held everyone accountable. You make everyone better around you. Last thing, one of your former assistants is now about to be an assistant coach at West Alabama. You also got Calvin Thomas, who is a longtime player and assistant and learned you're a mentor of his. He's at the next level. Bryant Thomas. I mean, you've had so many people. Jonathan Gordon at Calvary, but specifically Malcolm Holyfield that just got a job at West Alabama. What does that mean to you to see your former proteges doing so successful?
Well, that's what it's all about, Thrift. A lot of coaches, and I see it all the time now, where they don't really want to help the next guy. They don't want to help that next young coach get their own spot or how to push them up the ladder. That's what we're missing really in this whole deal, is the coaches lifting the next one up to move them up the ladder. Malcolm came, I remember about a year ago, he came and wanted to coach with us at Pacelli. I said, man, you come here. He told me what his dream was. His dream was he wanted to coach college basketball. I said, man, you come here and you work your tail off, man. Just work your tail off. You'll coach college basketball. And cost of God, not costing me, he got blessed to get opportunity. He works his tail off, networking his tail off with everybody. And he got an opportunity. That's the stuff that I like. What makes me happy, yeah, I want to win. I want to win state championship. All that's cool, fine and dandy. But guess what? At the end of the day, I want kids to have opportunity to go to the next level and coaches to have opportunity to move up a ladder. So that's what makes my heart feel good.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you. You know, I always do. Looking forward to next year because Correy Black's going to be a part of Georgia Alabama Sports Live in some capacity, wherever he's a executive producer or if he's going to be an analyst. Can't wait to have him on the broadcast and talking to you periodically. We'll have you on again, Coach. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you for all you do.
That is Coach Correy Black. We'll take a break. We'll come back. JJ Redick, he's the coach of the Lakers. And Richard thinks they're going to win a championship next year because of it. Right? No, we see that smile. I'm just kidding. Or am I? We'll find out here on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. You're watching right now the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show that is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile. We'll be right back after this.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox. Discounted up to $6,500 off. Chevy's full-size pickup truck, the powerful Chevy Silverado, is up to $12,000 off. And big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs are discounted up to $6,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until fall. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
And we're smiling as we're back here on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. Final thing we're going to talk about, JJ Redick is going to be the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. And my question is, why the hell would you want to go there? The Lakers' job is a losing job. As Frank Vogel won a championship there, fired. Then they go and remember Luke Walton lasted a year and a half, fired. Then they got Darvin Ham, because Frank Vogel was a problem. And Darvin Ham, 2 years, conference championship, fired. Now you're going to think J.J. Redick is going to get the respect of a 40-year-old legend in LeBron James. On top of that, the roster, presently constructed, can't win a championship. They're going to have to make moves, and they don't have the assets nor the money to make them. And J.J. Redick, Richard, as smart as he is and capable as he is, and I think he'll be a great coach, coaching this team is a losing job. It is something that could ruin his career. I just don't. Maybe him and LeBron, what are they going to be, friends? I'm confused on that. Job needs to be about respect, not friends. Is LeBron co-coaching and JJ just a name? How is this supposed to work? I don't think it does. I think JJ should have took a job where it had young talent, like an Oklahoma City Thunder, like a Houston Rockets, but they got both Dagnall and Ime Udoka, great coaches. But just a job where you can come in and establish your own culture with your own team, with your own system. I just don't see that happening, especially LeBron plays one way. And I think I wouldn't have took this job. But obviously, JJ, they still view it as it's the Lakers, and maybe they could make some move and get a superstar. But I think they are far away from winning a championship.
I think what J.J. Redick should have done was take the Detroit Pistons job because they have young talent you could develop. It would be a challenge, and there'd be no pressure to win right away in Detroit. Because I couldn't believe that Detroit just decided to fire Monty Williams, and now he's sitting at the house with $65 million. And I thought maybe the Lakers were going to give it to maybe a coach that got a team to the finals in the Phoenix Suns. But I'm looking at the record book. Since Phil Jackson left in 2011, remember, he won 57 games that year. Mike Brown was the coach, got them to the playoffs a couple of years, fired. They also had, Byron Scott. Byron Scott was, you got to remember.
You're missing Mike D'Antoni for 2 years.
Mike D'Antoni. Yeah, I'm looking at, and they even had Bernie Bickerstaff for a little bit, but, Mike D'Antoni, it was a complete disaster. Byron Scott, who led the Nets to the finals in 02 and 03.
Had a
fired.
great job at New Orleans Hornets. He was a good coach there.
That's right.
And then comes to the Lakers and doesn't play any of his young stars and has a terrible roster.
Luke Walton, 3 seasons, 26 wins, 35 wins, 37 wins. Frank Vogel gets them to win a championship in 2020 in his first season. Doesn't even last 4 seasons. He gets fired. And Darvin Ham led the Lakers to the playoffs the last 2 years. So you're telling me that the Lakers' expectations are a championship or bust, because it's not about getting them to the playoffs. If you can't win with this roster, because everybody thinks LeBron and AD, they should be competing for a championship. You got to remember, the West is stacked. LeBron is going to turn 40. Anthony Davis is good, but sometimes he's injury prone. I just don't think the pieces around LeBron and AD are good enough to win a championship. And I think that this hire was because JJ Redick is LeBron's buddy. They do a podcast together. This was a Rob Pelinka move written all over it, because he is not a very good GM. He's an agent. Jenny Buss is just letting Rob Pelinka do whatever he wants. And this is going to show for it. I really wish that they did not go in this direction with JJ Redick. If JJ Redick wants to be a good coach, you need to go somewhere else and try to develop, or at least try to be an assistant coach, because he doesn't even have any experience coaching. And we saw what a disaster it was in Brooklyn with Steve Nash. So I don't like the hire, but this is what the Lakers do. I mean, this is the franchise they have become.
You made mention about Monty Williams. For one, I didn't think he was a great coach, but he did a decent job with Phoenix. He gets more money than anyone in the NBA and gets fired a year later because of his malpractice, it seemed like, in coaching, not playing guys that should be playing.
Oh, he tanked.
Including the guy from Purdue that I can't think of his name. I cannot.
Jaden Ivey.
Jaden Ivey. I was going to say Caden Ivey, but Jaden Ivey. I mean, he should have been fired. Trajan Langdon was a GM under David Griffith in New Orleans. He did a great job there. You see all the assets New Orleans has, and if they can ever stay healthy, they were a number 1 seed a year and a half ago because they were fully healthy. But Langdon at Detroit, he obviously wants to pick his own coach. Got rid of Monty. They didn't have the same vision. I'm with you. I don't think any coach was going to fix that job with the Lakers, and it has just been catastrophe after catastrophe, and they're seeing the Celtics and what Brad Stevens did and winning a championship. Great job for the Boston Celtics, and the Lakers are just so far away removed from being even that much of a continuous winner.
And they don't even have cap space to try to get a big time free agent like a Paul George.
No, they
can't.
The only move, if you want Paul George, I'm hearing Bill Simmons say a Paul George, LeBron James swap. So LeBron James and Bronny go to the Clippers and play with James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and whoever else that is on that roster. And Westbrook. We already saw that project not work. But I don't know what the move is. And now with Bronny James, it's going to be interesting seeing. Next week's the NBA draft. We'll have our draft preview. I want to try to get on either Steve Holman or Mike Conti as we talk who the Hawks could take in that NBA draft. And we'll give our preview and our top 5 picks. But, Richard, I don't know, man. Lakers looking like they're going to be in major trouble. Maybe LeBron is going to go somewhere else. Maybe he goes to Philly, or is that where Paul George is going to go? Jimmy Butler, does he want to go to Philly? Bulls traded Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey, which I think is a great move for Oklahoma City. Gives them an all-defensive guy that can hit threes and play make, and it gets Giddey out of that situation in Oklahoma City where maybe they can, in the right situation, he can be a great third star on a good team.
Yeah, and also DeMar DeRozan is also going to be a free agent. Do the Bulls try to re-sign him? We saw the Pacers re-sign Pascal Siakam. This is really my favorite time when it comes to NBA free agency in the month of July. I remember when the Warriors got Kevin Durant, and then we all remember the decision back in 2010. I got to admit, I was sick to my stomach. I'm kind of shocked to find out. I was like looking at the top free agents. It's not a It's not a big list. LeBron is number one on there, but we all know he's probably going to stay with LA. Paul George, DeMar DeRozan. I mean, we've got some free agents, but I don't think it'll ever be like the decision back in 2010, which that till this day, I hated it. I hated the decision. I hated the fact that Miami created a super team. Super teams don't work. Just ask Brooklyn and Phoenix.
Oh, listen, I can't lie to you. I was definitely cheering for Dallas in that NBA Finals. But it's going to be interesting what happens with the NBA these next couple of weeks. You got draft next week, and NBA free agency is a couple days later. So we're going to already see the offseason start, and you got NFL. I can't wait because when we get in July, we're going to start breaking down SEC teams and their schedules and predictions. So looking forward to that. We still got a bunch of interviews we're doing around here, and we thank you, Correy Black, and we also thank Michael Woods for coming on tonight. By the way, Braves are winning, so I'm just going to say that, nothing else. The 41-31. Michael Harris did just get injured. Hopefully he comes back soon. But Braves are playing decent baseball, and I just think that the NL is so inept. Outside from Philly, the Brewers, and the Dodgers, the Braves are the next best team, and they're so far ahead of everyone else that have losing records still. Braves have just as good a chance, I think, as anyone, even though they don't have their best pitcher and best player. So I just want to throw that out there. But, Richard, any other final thoughts before we get out of here? United got a military appreciation on Saturday.
That's right.
Northern Little League's got their district. Northern Little League's playing in the 12 under championship. Richard, I want you to be there on the call for that. I was hoping we could do it. I'm going to talk to Chris. Maybe we can make it happen. I don't know. It could be maybe kind of difficult, but just a lot happening in our area. Make sure you go out and show support.
Yeah, I would love to. I was actually on the call for the District 8 championship last year between Northern and Harris County. But we're going to continue covering them. Whoever wins District 8, we'll follow them in the Georgia championship. And hopefully they win Georgia. And whoever wins District 8 in Georgia could be playing in Warner Robins in the Southeast regionals.
Well, we'll see. But for
and by the way, Thrift, the MLB game at historic Rickwood Field, Giants Cardinals. They're honoring Willie Mays. This is the oldest ballpark in this country, and it's in Birmingham. I was actually shocked. It's just outside of Birmingham. It's been around since 1910, and it really is just a tribute to the history of baseball dedicated to the Negro Leagues. I mean, this is a great event, and I'm just excited that it's the Giants and Cardinals, which they're playing on Fox right now.
Well, Richard, Tennessee and A&M playing in the College World Series Championship. We'll know a winner by next time we do a show.
First time ever that we would have a first time College World Series Championship, either Tennessee or Texas A&M.
I got Tennessee. They've been the best team in baseball, but the hottest team has been A&M. They were surprised this year. Remember, Tennessee was number 1 seed last year. They were great last year. They just didn't win. But Tennessee A&M, if you looked, Florida State, and then there was Kentucky, Florida, A&M, and Tennessee. 4 of the 5 teams that were remaining on Wednesday are from the SEC. Dominating football.
It just means more.
Just means more. From Richard Holdridge, I'm Thrift Barringer saying good night, everyone. Thank y'all so much. We'll be back next week. We hope you have a great weekend. We'll have a show on Monday. We got some more Summer League basketball. We got some interviews. We're going to probably start with Steve Smith from Calvary is what I'm thinking. Then we got, of course, we'll hit the other ADs around the area. From Thrift Barringer, Richard Holdridge. Good night, everyone. Thank you for watching the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. You're ready to smile.